also be introducing later I will be presenting to you also the mechanics for this debate so that our participants, our teams, and other attendees will be well informed and observe these mechanics. So again, we are members of the Young Water Champions, and we are composed of over 90 members registered to continue the work that we are doing in water conservation as well as related issues to respond to climate change. We had started this movement, this group rather, since last year, and we have been involved in advocating and raising awareness on the issue for every month since last year. And again, we are over 90 members already. So to present to you the motion for today's debate, we are focusing on the theme for the World Water Day. The motion of this debate is that humanity has made progress in providing water and sanitation, and that we are on track in accelerating change. So this is the stand of our defending team, while the opposing team stands that we haven't made progress yet. We are not on track on the water and sanitation crisis. So let me present to you the members of the opposing team. They are 3 members composed of Sony Pun, who is leading this team. Sony Pun is a project officer in Kanchan, Nepal. She has been actively promoting rainwater harvesting in the rural communities of Nepal through projects, Rain Communities, an integrated water resource management project, and Blue School program implemented by Kanchan, Nepal, and International Rainwater Harvesting Alliance. I will also introduce the second member, Mr. Fahad Rabid. Fahad is a 25-year-old climate change and social activist. He is reading for a Masters of Science in Climate Change and Development at the Independent University of Bangladesh. He has also been a volunteer with the Bangladesh Red Crescent Society and has served as the Chief of Health and Chief of Disaster Response Team from 2018 to 2021. The third member is Akash Varya, who is a young face of innovation-led startup Nearain Limited, and he has dedicated his life to empower our common to lead water secure life and thereby transform India into water positive nation. His work has been appreciated by JOI projects Amrut 2.0 Inc. at Wash Government of Telangana for simplicity and innovation and the common man-centric work. So thank you for the presence of our esteemed speakers for the first team, which is led by Pun. Now I will introduce the second team, which is the defending team. They are led by Carol Caetano. Carol is a water management technical officer, currently working with the Rainwater Harvesting Association of Malawi. Her work is focused on helping local communities utilize and conserve their land and water resources through rainwater harvesting. Carol's work is rooted in improving community resilience and improving the resilience and livelihoods through the adoption of RWH activities in their farms and activities. The second speaker from their team is Hastings Banda. He is an environmental scientist with a Bachelor of Science degree in Environmental Science obtained from Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources. Hastings is also a young climate justice advocate, belonging to a number of youth groups, including the National Youth Network on Climate Change in Malawi. The third member is Muhammad Jumani, who is a sociologist and has long years of experience in the humanitarian development sector, such as Tradesmen Middle East, Simi Foundation, NCHD, Muhammad Abbas Academy, International Organization for Migration or IOM, Plan International, and Shifa Foundation. He has demonstrated outstanding communication skills, strong coordination ability with peers, and social mobilization skills. Now, to present to you, we thank everyone for being present at today's debate. Now, to present to everyone our mechanics as to not just our presenters, but also to the participants joining us for today's event. Each presenter will only have 7 to 10 minutes of presentation time. And again, I'll be the timekeeper for today's debate. And presenters will of both teams will be evaluated for the content, presentation style, strategy, and knowledge of the World Water Day team. They will be presenting based on evidence, on their experience, on scientific observations that they have gathered from various research, from various projects that they've implemented. And to do this evaluation, we are glad and grateful for their presence. We are grateful for our esteemed expert who will be evaluating this debate. Thank you to Dr. Tanuja Ariyananda, the CEO of the Lanka Rainwater Harvesting Forum and convener of SARNET. Thank you for joining us today. We also have our second evaluator, Dr. Sarish Kumar Rohilya, Program Lead of the International Water Association and former Senior Director and Academic Director of CSE India. Now, to start off our debate, I will like to call on the team lead of the opposing team to state her opening statement. May I call on Carol Caetano?
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much. I'd like to first of all thank everyone and Ms. Danushi for giving me the opportunity to be able to be a part of this debate and to also lead the defending team. We will be defending that we have accelerated change in the past several years in the water and sanitation crisis that the country is facing. There are several facts, several figures that we've come up with to defend that. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Now, may I call the lead for the opposing team for her opening statement? May I call on Poon? Sonny Poon?
Thank you, Andy. Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you all on today's debate titled "The World Has Accelerated the Change to Solve the Water and Sanitation Crisis." Thank you, SARNET, for giving us the young Rainwater Champions an opportunity to present ourselves and debate on this topic. This is me, Soni from Nepal, and with my teammates Akash from India and Fahad from Bangladesh. We are the debate's opposing team, and we argue with our points that if the world has accelerated the change in solving the water and sanitation crisis, why are we gathered here today debating on this topic? In our opinion, the world lags behind in solving the water and sanitation crisis. Thank you. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you so much for those opening statements. Now, it's clear from both of our teams what are their arguments, and we are excited. I hope everyone is excited to know how they will defend these two arguments from from the opposing and the defending team. As mentioned in the beginning from Danushi, that we will start with our opposing team, right? So may I call on again a member of our opposing team? You have 10 minutes for your to start your argument. Sorry. I'm calling now members from our opposing team, or should I call a name?
Sonny, please go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, Sony, please go ahead.
Thank you, Andy. Well, access to water and sanitation are basic human rights. However, billions of people around the world have no access to water, sanitation, and hygiene. Inadequate wash affects public health as infectious disease spread through unsafe water, improperly disposed human waste, and poor hygiene practices. Wash is critical to sustainable development goals. In 2015, the world committed to Sustainable Development Goal SDG 6, that is clean water and sanitation for all, as a part of 2030 agenda, and they promised that everyone would have safely managed water and sanitation by 2030. There's an urgent need to accelerate change. But if we look at the progress on WASH, then a question arises: are we really accelerating the change to solve water and sanitation crisis? The recent report by WHO and UNICEF in 2021 has clearly indicated that 2 billion people still lack access to safely managed drinking water, and 2.6 billion people do not have access to safely managed sanitation. 5 years into SDGs, the world is still not on track to achieve SDG 6, clean water and sanitation. If we look at the current rate of progress, the world will only reach 81% drinking water coverage by 2030, leaving behind 1.6 billion people without safely managed drinking water services, while 67% of sanitation coverage by 2030, leaving behind 2.8 billion people without safely managed sanitation service. And country-wise, only 16 out of 99 countries are on track to achieve universal safely managed drinking water by 2030. The progress is too slow for 69 countries, and for some countries, the coverage is decreasing. In order to achieve universal access to safely managed drinking water service by 2030, the current rate of progress should increase by fourfold. It's like 4 times increase. And for least developed countries, it should be 10x, 10 times increase. Similarly, for achieving universal access to safely manage sanitation service by 2030, the current rates of progress should increase by fourfold. And for least developed countries, it should be even more, that is 15 times. It's 15 times increase. The acceleration process is not an easy task, and there are several challenges which hinder the process, like ever-growing world population, increasing water pollution, growing global agricultural water withdrawals, climate change impacts on water resources, insufficient WASH funding, and technological inaccessibility. Until and unless these issues are solved well, acceleration is unlikely to be achieved. These challenges will be further discussed by my teammates Akash and Fahad. Now I would like to request Akash to continue with our points. Thank you.
Thank you.
Akash?
Thank you, Sony.
Thank you, Sony, for giving the brief insight about that world has not accelerated. And the statement clearly states about the inputs about that world has still foot behind on accelerating the water and the sanitation crisis. The one of the biggest challenge in front of the world is the increasing the population and the increasing the water pollutions as well. The world population has already reached about the 67 million people. According to the World Populations Informations 2020, the 2 billion people will still lack of the safely managed drinking water services in 2020, as per the WHO and the UNICEF 2021 report as well. So the increasing the populations will increase the water pollutions as well. So which leads also the zero water day for the many cities into the world. So this also will increase the global agriculture water withdrawals either from any of the kind of resources. So according to the agriculture report as FAO 2011, in 2015 our planet will need to provide the food and the safe water to nearly about the 9 to 10 billion people. In order to achieving this figure or achieving, the world is also still behind in solving the water crisis or water on the sanitation crisis. So is the growing demand of the agriculture water and ensuring the food security not hampering the provisions of the water for the wash services? So answer is clearly no. And this also states that the world has very behind in solving the water and the sanitation crisis. The another point is also we have already seen the COVID-19 pandemic and highlighting the critical importance of the safe water services, and it's also lead to the discussion in the providing the finance of the wash services as well. The pandemic has also far-reaching effects on the public and the private investment into the wash services, requiring the medium and the long-term impact on the progress towards the SDG WASH targets, according to the WHO and the UNICEF 2021 report. Last but not least, my point is commonly uncommon thing. The rainwater harvesting technologies worldwide has also a lack of awareness, because if we talk about the rainwater harvesting, the word is very common, but its execution is very uncommon in solving the water and the sanitation crisis. And that's why the potential and the capacity to the solving the water and sanitation crisis, we have a lot of work to be pending to do into the solving the water and the sanitation crisis. So all these argument, and more than 75% of the countries reported the insufficient wash sector funding, and the majority of the responding countries reported the insufficient financial resources to meet the sanitation target, according to the WHO report 2022. So all these arguments, I think the world has very much behind. I mean, world is underdeveloped in solving the water and the sanitation crisis. And with all these arguments, I can say that world has not accelerated into the solving the water and the sanitation crisis. Another challenge is about the climate change and the impact of the water resources. I invite my colleague, Thank you.
Thank you so much, Akash. Andy, am I audible now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I apologize for not being able to open my camera since I have low bandwidth internet, and if my electricity went down, I just connected with my phone. So, distinguished panelists, my fellow champions, dear Mr. Admin, and my fellow debaters team, greetings and good evening. First of all, I would like to start with the clue given by my esteemed colleague, Mr. Akash. I want to discuss a little bit about climate change impact on the water resources. Well, first of all, I would like to draw attention to the rising impact of climate change on the water resources. Yes, the climate change has a significant impact on water resources around the world. It affects the availability, quality, and the quantity of water in different purposes. Frequent flood, drought, heat stress, cyclones, and intensified disasters are affecting the water resources enormously. And besides, increasing sea level rise due to melting of glaciers and ice caps, which can cause saltwater intrusion, coastal erosion, and displacement of population, which is a clear and present threat for coastal areas all over the world. The salinity is increasing because of those events, mostly. Scarcity of suitable water is increasing day by day because of the salinity intrusion. For instance, 10 of the coastal districts of Bangladesh are now facing excessive salinity intrusion problem, and the rest of the coastal districts are now the threat of salinity intrusion. And especially the children are the biggest victim of these disastrous events. According to the UNICEF, around 450 million children live in area of high or extreme high water vulnerability. This means that they do not have enough water to meet their everyday needs. And despite our best effort, every day over 1,000 children under the age of 5 die from diseases linked in inadequate water, sanitation, and hygiene practices. And the participants, I would like to discuss a little bit more about an extensive topic, which is an excessive use of groundwater. We know that groundwater is an important source for water for many communities around the world, especially in areas where water is, is scarce or unreliable. And overuse of groundwater for daily wash practices and drinking purposes has become a threat to suitable drinking water. Many countries are excavating enormous amount of groundwater, especially in municipal areas. One of the biggest threats associated with excessive groundwater use is the depletion of aquifers. As groundwater is pumped out of aquifers faster than it can be filled up, the water table drops, making it more difficult and expensive to access the remaining groundwater. And in some cases, the aquifer can become completely depleted, leading to the loss of vital water resources. This can have devastating consequences for communities that rely on groundwater on their water supply. And as my esteemed colleague Sonny mentioned, that there is a significant threat of the technological accessibility. The lack of technological accessibility is a significant barrier to adequate water and sanitation practice in low-income countries, like as in LDC countries. Many people in these countries do not have access to clean water or sanitation facilities, which can lead to the spread of waterborne diseases such as cholera, dysentery, typhoid, fever, etc. And these diseases can cause serious illness and even death, particularly in young children, as I mentioned earlier, and the elderly. And one of the main factors contributing to the lack of technological accessibility is the cost of implementing and maintaining water and sanitation infrastructures. Low-income countries often lack the financial resources to build and maintain structure, and this can lead to inadequate or outdated facilities that are unable to meet the needs of population. Additionally, this is there's a lack of expertise and knowledge in the LDC countries about the latest water and sanitation technologies, as well as lack of trained personnel to maintain and repair them. This can lead to a situation where even if the infrastructure is present, if it perhaps not be functioning properly, and this can further contribute to the spread of waterborne diseases. Moreover, in many low-income countries, there are lack of political will to sort of prioritize investment in water and sanitation infrastructure. Without sufficient political support and funding, it can be challenging. It could be challenging to implement long-term solutions that can address the water and sanitation needs that is actually needs for the population. And in conclusion, the lack of technical accessibility is a major barrier to adequate water and sanitation practice in low-income countries. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that the entire world recognizes the water and sustainable crisis, and governments and international agencies are working hard to resolve water and sanitation globally. However, we believe that there are many factors like growing populations, climate change, lack of adequate funds, and initiatives and factors that has been provided by my colleagues are hindering our best effort of accelerating the change to solve the water crisis and sanitation. These solutions are not enough and not actually adequate against the rising vulnerability. Hence, because of these constraining factors, me and my teammates believe that the world has not accelerated and the change to solve the water and sanitation crisis in the proper manner, and more efforts and initiatives and policies are needed and required to solve all these issues. So that's all from the opposing team. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, opposing team members Tony, Akash, and Muhammad. I now turn you over to members of our defending team believing on the argument that there has been accelerated change, progress made uh, to solve water and sanitation crisis, progress made in providing water and sanitation, thereby tracking changes in humanity and in the world. So may I call members of the defending team? May I call on Carol Caetano?
Thank you very much. For us, in defending that the world has accelerated change in addressing the water and sanitation crisis, we divided our work to make it easier for presenting our findings. So I will be giving a presentation that Africa and Malawi in particular has had efforts to accelerate this change. Supun will be giving us an insight into Sri Lanka and Asia, whilst Hastings will come after to just give us a whole global perspective of what efforts have been made by the global community to tackle water crisis and sanitation issues. And we're just going to give insights as to whether WASH, which is water and sanitation health, have been given attention in the respective countries. So to begin, the global opinion poll, which released a survey of more than 1,200 sustainability experts in March, concluded that water shortages will shift the public perception of the value of water, prompting governments and companies to view clean water not as a commodity to exploit, but as a precious resource. So this has brought in efforts like educating the mass population to change the water consumption and lifestyle. It has brought in efforts to encourage the adoption of new water harvesting technologies, as well as improved water catchment harvesting. We have seen over the years that we have had a development of a financial strategy for the WASH sector. We see Zambia has launched its water investment program, which is aimed at mobilizing $6 billion for water investments. Malawi has as well developed its Malawi Climate Resilient Water Sanitation and Hygiene Financing Strategy for the next 9 years. To add on to that, we have seen that there has been political will and high-level commitment through the establishment of an independent water supply and sanitation ministry in Malawi, which has increased the basic water delivery with a 25% since its establishment. Through financing, the government secured through financing that was secured by the government, water boards in Malawi, they're building a power generation plant, which is going to help them reduce their electricity bills. And as such, can help them save $1.2 million. This money can be invested in improving other water infrastructure. A government implemented project as well has been given through the water boards, which is giving free connections to domestic users. And apparently, since the project was started, 6,000 new connections have been made, thereby providing access to water to 6,000 new households in the country. We have also the implemented projects to increase the number of people having access to safe and clean water and improved sanitation facilities. This is another effort to show that we are trying to change as countries, as different people around the world. They're trying to change and to solve the water and the sanitation crisis. We have seen that the Global Water and the UNICEF, they are implementing global initiatives in 10 countries to support emerging leadership in water, in sanitation and hygiene services, and in climate resilience. This is a global water leadership program. At the same time, one of the districts in Malawi has benefited from a project that was funded by OPEC Fund for International Development, thereby having 48,000 households are getting access to potable water, 31,000 people and households having improved sanitation and hygiene. And we can see, and it was indicated that out of these beneficiaries, 52% were women. We can also see another effort as where sector stakeholders, different stakeholders that are within the WASH sectors, involving themselves in the provision of solutions in the WASH sector. Sanitation and Water for All increased the portfolio budget of the Water and Sanitation Ministry in Malawi from $30 million to $90 million in 2022 to support the ministry in expanding its services. At the same time, promotion of rainwater harvesting technologies by the Rainwater Harvesting Association of Malawi has seen over 200 calabash systems constructed across the country in both schools, villages, and individual houses, providing easy access to water. Now, what I want to indicate here is that we all these that I have mentioned here, these are efforts that are indicating that countries, companies, as well as individuals, they are giving the will, they are showing that they are trying to address the water and the sanitation crisis. Even if the efforts made might be slow, but there is an indication that we are trying to change the water and the sanitation crisis. People have understood that there is a crisis and they are giving attention to this crisis and to respond to these issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carol. Can we turn over to the next speaker for the defending team? May I call on Hastings?
All right. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present my arguments defending the topic. So, sorry, I'll not share. I'll not share the video. I'm in the field. You have to attend to the meeting. So, first of all, I want to appreciate what the opposing team has said. It was interesting to hear from them the facts they are bringing forward. However, maybe I want to draw attention specifically by first understanding the topic that we are debating. It's accelerating change. It's not that we have the change or the desired result that we want at the end of the day. No, but we are saying the global or the world is accelerating change. So accelerating means trying to drive toward an end goal, not necessarily meeting the end goal. So very true. The first main speaker from the opposing team recognized that the country know that access to clean water and sanitation is a human right, and thus one of the indications that the global village is progressing towards attaining towards clean access to water and sanitation, because on 28th July 2010, the United Nations the United Nations General Assembly adopted a historical resolution that recognizes the right to safe drinking water as a human right. So you can see that just by the global United Nations General Assembly recognizing that the right to clean water is a human right, that is already an indication that there is global commitment accelerating change towards clean water and sanitation, because these are pillars of the global village where all the developments are emerged from. You know, even if you are developing a proposal, you have to back up from what the global village is interested in. So by putting that into a global, declaring the right to clean water as a human right, that is already an indication that at least we are geared towards seeing the change in this sector. That's number one. That is as a political will of the global village. Secondly, I want to take you into attention a number of global conventions and treaties that have been agreed, that countries have signed to make sure that we have access to clean water and sanitation. So number one, we have the most prominent one is that we have a water convention. We have a water convention that aims at making sure that the transboundary water bodies are protected and people have access to safe drinking water, and they have sanitation. The bodies are not polluted, you see. So this is an indication that the global village has agreed, seeing the problem that is existing, the crisis that is existing, and coming up with solutions that can help to minimize the problem that we are having in water and sanitation. Number one. Number two, we have the Ramda Convention, which was initially established in 1970. It was established in 1971 with a few countries, but the world has seen that it's an important element that we have to join hands and agree to this convention, because it aims at protecting wetlands, which is also an element which is important in tackling the water crisis. So in 1971, the Ramsar Convention was signed by few countries, 9. But when it by now it's almost 200 and something countries have signed and ratified to the convention, meaning there's that commitment of the global village to solve the water crisis and sanitation. That is just a hints on the global political will as how we are faring to accelerate the change that we want. Importantly, in 2015, the global village agreed to the global agenda, that is the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. And water and sanitation clearly came out as one of the goals, and it was that's goal number 6. This is on its own, it's an indication that the global village is recognizing that we have a crisis and we need to tackle it. You see, so this is also something that we can point out and celebrate, that the world is really trying to work towards having the change, the desired change that we want in as far as global water crisis and sanitation is concerned. And there are a number of indicators that have been put under SDG number 6. For example, we have the targets. So we have different problems within the global water crisis and sanitation. But if you closely look at that SDG number 6, you understand that the different targets that have been put to monitor the change that we are making as a global village. So we have issues of drinking water as a global target number 1. We have issues of sanitation and hygiene as global indicator within that SDG number 6 as a target number 2. We have wastewater and water quality. We have water use and water scarcity. We have water resources management. We have water ecosystems. We have cooperation, and we have participation. So if we can start now analyzing each global target that it was set under this SDG number 6, we'll see that this global village is indeed accelerating the change that we want to see. For example, I'll take you to a few statistics that we registered in 5 years from the time we started working on the SDGs as a global village. So we can see that the global data on SDG water and sanitation hygiene indicators is improving. Another thing that we have also to recognize is that we are failing to measure the full potential that we are registering in tackling the global water crisis and sanitation because of unavailability of data. For example, in 2020, in 5 years time that the world has started working on SDG number 6, we have seen an increment in the availability of data. Some countries, but in 2015, we are not able to report on different indicators of water crisis or availability of water or sanitation. But then, since the world started implementing on water crisis and sanitation, we have seen an improvement in data, which indicates that even in 2023, as we are talking today, it might be that we are far better than the available data that we have. So, in a nutshell, we have seen an increment in the way people in the countries, the way countries are reporting on water availability and sanitation. Briefly, we have seen an increment of the nations reporting from 96 to 138 in 2017 to 2021. And in rural areas, we have seen an increment of 20 to 65%. And in urban, we have seen an increment in 2017 from 44 to 87 in 2021. So you can see that there's that improvement. Well, I think for now, on global perspective, I can stop there, and then I'll give it to Supun to sum up what he has for region in Asia. Otherwise, I support that the country is accelerating the change that we want to see in global water crisis and sanitation. Thank you.
Thank you, Hastings. Now we go to the last speaker from the defending team, Muhammad Hidal.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. And concerned to the discussions from the global side, the crisis and water and harbor testing. When we talk about the sustainable development goal, when we can see the situations, when I can talk about when we talk about the country that I'm living over here, we have a different scenario. Like when we are talking about the rain harvesting, that there can be some solution as well as where we can storage, and because we are working from is concerned to my field experience when we talk about 2K15 to 2K23, that they have a different scenarios, and that's the global issue that we are facing. When we have the basic health and hygiene services to have to get because it's the humanitarian protocols, we have to provide a safe drinking water for drinking purpose and for others for the domestic purpose. When we talk about the global issues and how we can be overcome with the mitigation plan, because we have a different clusters approaches over here, like WASH. When we talk about WASH, water and sanitation, the UNICEF is a leading organization that they are leading with, and they have a different kind of the studies, research reports, and water contamination issues. Because in our areas, there are a lot of the differences related to the water and sanitation. Because we are running in a two-way, like desert belt and when the barrage belt. When we talk about the desert, we have some practices like the rain harvesting, storage, and we are implementing this that in the beginning I shared some my field related things with this network, and I'm very thankful for this network and a lot of the learning from the different Asian countries, that what kind of practices they are doing, and good case studies as well as the reference documents they are showing with the UNICEF, WHO reports. So from this side, I'm little bit unable because I'm in traveling, so I cannot take your more time, because the administrator already give us some caution that you have a small time to discuss on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Muhammad Hidal. So at this point, since the different teams, the two teams, have decided to present their arguments in a succeeding way for each team and then the other team. Now I'll have a one round of rebuttal from the different teams. So may I call on, yes, Muhammad, but may I call on member from our opposing team to present the rebuttals or counterpoints? Please, you have the floor.
Now, and Andy, on our behalf, our leader Sonny will present our counterpoints. Thank you.
Thank you. Sonny?
Yeah, thank you, Fahad, and thank you, Andy. Well, I just noted some points from Carol. She mentioned that Malawi is still progressing on the change. The progress is slow. However, there is an urgent need to accelerate to solve the water and sanitation crisis. And we discussed about the challenges we are facing and accelerating the change to solve water and sanitation crisis. How far Malawi has addressed the challenges we have discussed earlier for accelerating the change to solve the water and sanitation crisis. Fahad and Akash, if you have other points, then you can just raise your points.
Our supporting team, Mr. Hastings, has some inputs with the meaning of the accelerating. He said that accelerating means the trying to solve the crisis. So I want to correct him that the meaning of the accelerators is the speed of the growth, not the world is trying. So this statement is clearly states that that world has not accelerated and just trying, and we are just put behind about solving the water and the sanitation hygiene crisis. And also there is a huge gap of the international and the national laws and the conventions which rules out by the Hastings points, entire points. So there is a huge gap between the international practices and the national practices that he has mentioned. So I think these are our counter arguments on the basis that we have.
Yes, Akash. That will be all. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Tony, Akash, and then Fahad for those counter arguments. Anyone from the opposing team to answer or respond to those arguments? Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, let me start to respond. Yes, let me start by saying that the definition of accelerating is actually begin to move more quickly. If I was saying trying to solve the problems, it means I was referring in this context that the global recognized that we have a problem and how can we solve it. So the whole debate is on accelerating the change. Have we begun to move more quickly? So as far as we have registered some change within 5 years or 15 years of the implementation of SDGs, since we recognize that there's that global crisis, it means we have begun to move more rapidly than we were at first. So I wanted first to clarify on that one. Secondly, there was an issue raised that there's a big gap between international interventions and local interventions, as for example, maybe in reference to what Carol has given and Spoon has given in each specific countries they are from. Yes, there can be that gap, but we have also to recognize that I presented international conventions, treaties, and agreements as an indicator of global political willingness to solve the problem. So the way these things are done is that the global village agrees, but for the implementation to take place, it is in the hands of each specific country to integrate. So you sign and ratify, and then you incorporate the principles that have been agreed internationally into your national agendas, national agenda. So that's why our presentation started with giving case scenarios of Malawi, how we have adopted the global agenda and then integrate it into our own principles. So Carol pointed out a number of interventions, including establishment of an independent ministry to look specifically into water and sanitation. And also, I can add on that Malawi has, after recognizing that we have a crisis and recognizing that this is a global, a human right that has to be enjoyed, they have taken that into our local policies. So we are trying to trickle down from the global agendas into local policies. So we have an Environmental Management Act. Section 4 of our Environmental Management Act in Malawi clearly stipulates that each person has the right to clean environment, and it indicates the clean environment. Now we are the environmental policy explains what clean environment and means, and we have included water in that. South Africa as well. South Africa has also recognized the right to clean water as a human right. So that we are trying to now trickle down the global agreements into our local policies and agendas to accelerate the change that we want. So it takes different forms. It needs the solutions to solving the problem are from different interventions, including education and awareness, new conservation technologies, recycling water, rainwater harvesting, new agricultural practices, implementation of policies. So I've just alluded how policies are trickled down. So, and we can see that we have a Rainwater Harvesting Association, for example, in Malawi. And here we are as global, we are connected, sharing solutions. These are interventions in trying to solve the crisis that we can point out and say, yes, we are progressing. So I think let me give it to my fellow friends if they have additional points. Thank you.
Thank you, Hastings. Now we turn over to another member of the defending team.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to weigh in. So Malawi is ranked as one of the most poorest countries. And with such, you would understand that there are many cases that come with lack of access to drinking water sources, practices of open defecation. So these are issues that are coming into the water and the sanitation crisis. It has also, over the years, shown that water supply and sanitation facilities need to be improved following major investments in the water and the sanitation sector. All right, so as Hastings had pointed out, we have had as a nation here in Malawi, the establishment of a full ministry, the Water Supply and Sanitation Ministry. The Water Supply and the Sanitation Ministry being established just to make sure that we have to increase our basic water delivery within the country. It was reported in 2015 that 87% of the national population, 87% of the national population had no access to improved water services, which include the piped water, the protected dug wells, not 87 of them, and 41%, only 41% had access to improved sanitation facilities. And with this in mind, we can say that from the 60s, it wasn't 87, it's 67% that indicated that the national population had access to improved water source in 2015. And by 2020, we had 87% of the national population having access to improved water services. With regard to the SDGs, the number of people that are safely managing drinking water and sanitation services in Malawi has increased, and this has made this has given us more in. Sorry, hold on. Okay, so we're saying that with the SDGs, the number of people that had safely managed drinking water and sanitation services in Malawi has increased with the establishment of the Water and the Supply Sanitation Ministry. We had 6,000 new connections being made to domestic users, extra $1.2 million dispersed to improve the water infrastructure. So we might not have the right change right there and then, but progress is being made. We are saying that progress is being made. Efforts are being put to speed up the process of changing. Efforts are being put to make sure that we are solving the sanitation crisis that we have. We are solving this water crisis that we have. So this might not only just be a job of the organizations or governments, but individuals are also taking it upon themselves to adopt new technologies of water management, to adopt technologies of better sanitation services, and how to construct better improved sanitation facilities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carol, for your argument. I would go back to the opposing team for any counter arguments that you may have from the presented statements by our defending team.
Yes, Andy, I have just one point remaining. I really appreciate and acknowledge that Malawi is uptaking the RWS technology and also in Sri Lanka as well. But there is a huge potentiality of RWS technology in solving the water and sanitation crisis. However, still the upscaling of RWS technology, there's still lack of upscaling of RWS technology worldwide, which also slows down the acceleration process. That's all I have. If my team members have any other points, then they can also put forward.
Thank you, Sony. Members from the
Yes.
opposing team?
Yes, I have also argument with the, I think with the Carol statement, that Carol statement is from the UNICEF report only, and that the data of the 67% of the Malawi household have access to drinking water as per the Carol is for the urban areas only. So if we talk about the, sorry, it's about for the rural area only. So if we talk about the urban area of the Malawi, it clearly that report itself that it more fetch drinking water in the comparison to the 13% into the urban areas, and the only 77% of the water points nationwide are only the functionals. So I think they have missed about the point, and my argument is that world is also not accelerating the accelerated has in solving the water and hygiene crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, Akash. Any other additional points from the?
I hope not. Thank you, Andy.
Yes, Fahad.
No, thank you, Andy. We're done.
All right. So now I may ask the teams to close us in their arguments for a closing statement from the defending team. Can I call on Carol?
Thank you very much. I would lastly close up my argument by saying that progress has been made to improve the access to drinking water and sanitation in Malawi and in most parts of the world, and that most of the populations do have access to a drinking water point and a sanitation facility, mostly within a 30 minutes area less than a 30 minutes area in their households. We can say that emerging trends on progress and inequalities in water supply and services do show efforts that are being put towards improving the access to basic services in most of the vulnerable populations across all the geographic and the socioeconomic groups of the world. And we as champions of rainwater, as champions that are dealing with the water sector, we need to draw attention to the people that are being left behind, those that don't have a basic access to water and sanitation services, so that we reduce the gap within the populations and to ensure that there is equitable access and sanitation for all by 2030 with the respect to the SDGs agendas that we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carol. I would want to give an opportunity for our opposing team to end with their closing statement. Can I call on Sony or Fahad or Akash?
Yes, Swani, you can give the closing statement, or I can give.
I think Sony's, she's been told about the disruption of electricity. Akash Bhai, you can go ahead. I'm assuming.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank jury members and as well as the SARNET organizing this debate, which increases the knowledge. I think that I can say the statement of this, that the world has accelerated into organizing this kind of a debate, not the accelerating in the solving the water crisis, but the world has accelerated. This debate itself says that the world has accelerated in organizing the such of kind of a debates. So my closing statement is with the arguments, all these things, that we are still behind. The world has foot back, and thank you very much for the opportunities in participating in the debate as well as. Thank you all the members, Andy, and lots of hard work by the Ms. Tanushri, and thank you all the jury members also for evaluating us in this kind of a debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much for presenting your closing statements for the defending as well as the opposing team. Now, at this point, may I call on members of our evaluators to share their feedback or comments on the arguments presented by the two teams. May I call on any of you can go first, Dr. Ariananda and Dr. Ophelia.
Yeah, thank you. Suresh, do you want to go first?
Do you want to give an overall assessment or just my feedback?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but how would we finally take a decision that which team was best? That's what I'm. We have to do it now? Or?
I mean, based on the criteria Dhanushi has given, I have given each person some marks and added them up, so I can share with you those marks, and then we can join together and give the final.
So do you want? I can give general comments. I can just give general comments, but then do you want to announce the result now? Is it now, or we need to consult each other? That's my worry.
I would highly suggest that you give first your comments and feedback on the two teams, on their arguments that they presented. We'll give you both for 10 minutes, a combined perhaps 5 minutes each, and then we can share the winner of this debate.
Yeah, maybe we can get on a separate WhatsApp call or something, and we can finalize. Yeah, I would say, I enjoyed both the presentations, the defending and the opposing team. I was really impressed by the professionals, young professionals from diverse angle. They came in and the energies which they showed. And interestingly, I saw the counter arguments were equally powerful. I think that I would say. However, I would like to say that both the sides were concerned that there is a need for improving water and sanitation access to all. On one side, though, saying that what is change and what is acceleration. That definition itself was very interesting for me. What is the reference condition, how numbers change. But I think in a debate, what happens is, the energy levels, the articulation of your points, they are also important. I think that would be my criteria based on which I would decide, not actually looking at the actual progress, what has happened on the ground in terms of the agenda or not. I think the teams will be judged from my side based on that. So I don't know, Tanuja, whether what is your criteria, but I would be judging not based on whether the real world progress has changed or not, but the way teams defended their positions. I think for me, that would be the criteria, and I would discuss with you. But I would congratulate all both the sides, how they have put their points together and the way they have articulated. I am also aware of that, logistical challenges some members had. So that would not be my criteria for judging. However, I would like to say that, maybe Tanuja, you can give your opinion, but once we have taken 5 minutes or 10 minutes, what is given by the moderator, then we can come back and defend about our decision.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yes, I was also very impressed with the arguments by both parties and all the statistics also that was presented. So well done, both teams did a good job, and as Suresh said, the energy is also very rewarding to see the youngsters coming up. So I'm very pleased and for organizing this debate as well. And I know that came from the young champions members themselves. So it's a very good initiative that you have started. And taking the time to look at the statistics and also getting aware about it, very encouraging. Both teams had good points, arguments. The proposing team, I was hoping we will have more global stats as well. There was some, but not enough. And opposing team, I like the way it was. They took up different subjects, or they from general and to financing and what are the constraints there, and also relating it to climate change. So that is good. And both teams actually also brought in how rainwater harvesting has improved and can improve the water supply in the future. So I personally feel that this is many countries have reached high levels, but some are still lagging behind. And to bridge the gap between not having access to good water supply, I think rainwater plays a big role in that. So because it's especially for countries which has invested a lot, but still has not achieved the target. And it's not, the last bit is the most expensive, I feel, to provide water supply to the last bit of people. That has a more challenging approach. So for that, I think rainwater is a good solution to reach. So that was brought in by some other debaters as well. So it's good that you recognize that and also promote it as well. So good work. Congratulations to both teams. And thank you for the arguments. So,
Thank you.
Indeed, congratulations to the members of the two teams for doing a good job, so we can tap each other's back, tap your own back to congratulate yourself. And we thank you, Dr. Suresh and Dr. Tanuja, for your feedback and comments to our two teams. Now, I want to turn you over to Danushi, and perhaps during this time, Dr. Suresh and Dr. Tanuja can call each other and
Yeah.
decide who will be their winner, whether it's the opposing team or the defending team. Thank you. Now, I turn over to Danushi.
Yes, yes, Andy, thank you. I think it was a good job and it came from you. So it's like what we started in a small way. Now it's growing. So we are happy and it's taking its own direction. It has found its own direction. So this way, I guess there's a lot of potential for all of us to do a lot more work together. And as we discussed earlier, we will need to have another meeting soon to reflect on this exercise and then also to plan next steps and to strengthen this network. But then I'm very proud of all of you for your commitment to this effort. So thank you very much, and let's keep it up. And also any other suggestions from you till Dr. Tanuja and Dr. Suresh come back with the verdict.
No, really enjoyed this debate, and I think this kind of program should be organized globally as well. And it is a really, really good initiative, and I heartfelt congratulations to you for all your efforts and doing a great job in the field of the rainwater harvesting as well. And in the field of the rainwater harvesting, I also mentioned in this speech as well, and I mentioned already into the earlier of the presentation that the rainwater is the commonly uncommon thing. That the rainwater harvesting is a very common word. We all know the rainwater harvesting. We all know the rain is the important, and it is the only source of the fresh water that we take from our Godfather and giving it to the Mother Earth back. But it is very when it comes to the practices, like, so it is very uncommon. It seems uncommon into the execution of the rainwater harvesting techniques and the innovations like this. So heartily congratulations, Dhanushri, for all your efforts and all the whole the SARNET team as well.
Yeah, I think it's not me, it's your effort. I only kind of gave like facilitation. So we also have like those who encouraged us by joining this debate, they are still there. So Michael, then we have Nilesh, Manka from Deputy Engineer from India. So and Jude, Nirmal Raja. So we would also like to hear your thoughts and observations. If any of you would like to.
Dhanushri, could I have a minute?
Sure, of course.
So, I must, concern with Mr. Akash Dada here. He forgot to say something. I must say a few words about Sonny, our team leader. Like, she's the one that pushed us to our limit, kept us on track. Okay, let's always calling, always keeping us awake. Okay, let's have a meeting. Let's do this, let's do that. Opening the drive, collecting the data, and she honestly, I'm not going to lie, she did most of the work, and she's the one who is I would say responsible for our teams. Whether we fail or success doesn't matter. She's a winner to us. So that is something I wanted to say. Thank you, Sonny. Thank you so much.
And also, Farad, I want to add you the points that is managing the different times as well.
we had 3 different time zone. So she always kept us on track. Okay, this is my time, this is Fahad's time, this is Aka's time, and we will sit on exactly on that dot point. So thanks to her. She's been our timekeeper and our lighthouse.
And yes, Sony has always been so committed since she became a member. I've seen like she's been very active and committed to all the efforts. And so is Carol from the other end. Yes,
Thank you.
Mike.
Thank you, Fahad and Akash. I think it was a teamwork more than my effort. And thank you, Dhanushi. Yeah, I really enjoy like attending all the events like SARNET and Young Rainwater Champions organized. I think I haven't missed any of the events
No.
so far. So I really enjoy and I learn so much from other team members. So it's really useful and helpful.
Of course, I think we have a lot to share with others also. Michael has said amazing deliberations. Let's harvest rainwater at all costs in our respective areas. Thank you, Michael. Anybody else who would like to share their thoughts about the event?
Yeah, perhaps Dhanushi, if there are none, you can announce some other activities that we have for this year in celebration of the Water World Day, right? We
Yes.
also have other activities apart from this one.
Yes, so Young Rainwater Champions are planning to also launch a YouTube series. So starting off with engaging children who use rainwater harvesting in schools. So we will have videos coming in from different parts of the world. And we will share that also on YouTube. And so we also invite all of you to subscribe and share the SARNET YouTube link with your friends and with your networks. So we like it grows and then we can all use that platform to share knowledge, experiences. So Dr. Suresh is back, I think.
Yeah. So we discussed, and Dr. Suresh, you want to tell?
Yes, I don't mind because I think we had a very good, quick chat, but based on certain reason and logic, I would like to give my opinion in favor of Team 2, which did pretty well. So they have secured 69 marks from my side. And Team 1 is not much behind. It is just 67. So you can see the difference is not much. So both teams have done very well. The only thing what I would say is that there is a balanced effort which is required when you do debate. That one is the reason to see that the Team 1 has gone a little less in the scores. Second thing is that the dependence on only one country data was a little bit pulling them down. Otherwise, there are significant progresses which have been made in many other parts of the world. For example, India has achieved open defecation free. India wants to achieve 24/7 water supply in 2024. So all these are indicators, and I believe I would go with my co-jury members' decision, saying that if they had supported their arguments with this, they would be certainly much more beneficial in the debate. But anyway, the winner is from my side, Team 2, and they score higher marks. And this is my decision. I'll go to Tanuja to convey her decision.
Okay, thank you, Suresh. Yeah, my scores also, the Team 2 has 83 and Team 1 has 80. So as same, not much difference. So both are done very well. Thank you and congratulations to both of them. Yes, so similarly, as I said before, maybe the little marks lacking or didn't go up the same It's because of the argument were not the global, there were some only 1 or 2 countries, so that might have improved the team to team one's effort or marks as well. So, but anyway, it's a very close debate and all good points by both teams, and presentations were very good. So congratulations both of them, and yeah, so well done.
Thank you, Dr. Tanuja and Dr. Suresh for that. So just to clarify, Team 2 is the opposing team, right?
Yes.
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 So congratulations to the opposing team led by Sony, of course, members Muhammad Fahad as well as Akash. So of course, congratulations also to the defending team for a job well done. And thank you for joining us for today's debate. Now I turn you over officially to Danushi to end us with this event.
Can we have a selfie like with all our cameras turned on?
Yes,
For
can we?
our memories, please.
Can we take that? Can all of you?
Those of us who can actually.
Yes.
Right.
Chanchala, you are there. You can help, no? So after Chanchala will do the needful.
All right, I'll be taking also a screenshot. I'll share it in the group chat WhatsApp. So please smile. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
All right. So done. I was able to take a photo. Dr. Suresh, you seem to be raising your hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to say a few points if time permits regarding
Sure.
IWA and the young professionals, because I saw a lot of young water professionals are there. So if Tanuja or organizers allow me, then I can. Otherwise, it's okay.
Yeah, go ahead, please, Suresh.
So just wanted to say that, we attach one of the points which also, in addition to what comments I gave, was that, the acceleration is not just about the service provision, but also engagement with diverse stakeholders, which is important. I think that didn't come out in the group too, but in that sense, I would say world is progressing, like inclusiveness, youth engagement, gender. These are the issues which are equally important for achieving the acceleration of the goal. So in that direction, my comment comes is that IWA is a global water professionals organizations, and we attach a lot of importance. And in last 2 or 3 years, we have been able to mobilize young water professionals all over the world. We have around 40 chapters which are active. And I would like to invite you people to, move in this direction. Other thing is that in terms of knowledge, the world is accelerating. There was a time when the knowledge contents were not freely available and technology was not, information about technology was not available. Now, if you see in the last 5 to 10 years, in particular, I'll give example from IWA. Out of the 19 journals which we publish, 14 journals have gone open access. So this itself means it is freely accessible to all. So this is acceleration, and the people are thinking beyond money. People are thinking beyond material. People are thinking beyond not just numbers. So there is a knowledge sharing happening. There is a South platforms coming up, and I think I would like to say that this very effort of Tanuja, where she has developed this platform, I have worked with one country's efforts like in Sri Lanka rainwater harvesting. Now that being developed as a regional platform itself is one signature that there are other factors for achieving or accelerating, that is partnerships and global sharing, information sharing. I just wanted to say that IWA has special rates for membership. You people are invited, and we do also have special privileges in terms of how you can benefit from this. There are rates for student members, young professionals, people from low and medium income countries. You should come on board, take responsibility, because we are the one who are not going to be there in 2050, many of us, So the people who are above 50 or above 60. So it is your future. These numbers, the targets we are talking about, you are going to be responsible for whatever happens, and the world is going to be in your hands. I think I just wanted to say, Tanuja, thanks a lot for giving me an opportunity. This regional network of South Asia promoting this good cause and this dialogue, I think we should have many of such activities. Thank you.
Thank you, Suresh. And also to add to what Suresh said, there is a rainwater harvesting group also with the IWA, so which I'm also a part of. So please join that group as well when you are joining the IWA. So thank you. Thank you, Suresh, for the support you have given throughout this debate as well as previously for SARNET. And I'm sure Dhanushi would have told all of you about the conference that is coming up in May. So I hope all of you will join either physically or virtually for the conference. Thank you.
We look forward to Saroja. Thanks. And thanks, Andy. Thanks, Dhanushi, for coordinating. And thanks to both the teams. Once again, congratulations. So keep up the good work and the high energy levels. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
very much.
Suresh, Dr. Tanuja. Again, I give back the floor to Dhanushi. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for joining as debaters, and then special thanks to Dr. Suresh for obliging every time, and he has been a huge encouragement to take the SAR network forward, and Dr. Tanuja, and also the participants who joined this discussion and who have been with us. So we will have more things to look forward to, no? And with the Young Rainwater Champions, we'll have more things in future, more interesting, insightful things, and we will share that. So thank you very much once again for your efforts, commitments, despite the other work. And have a pleasant evening to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. It's been a pleasure, ma'am. And so, thank you, Andy.
Okay.
And thank you, Andy.
And see you soon.
Yes, we have work to do.
The Friday meetup.
Yeah, we have work to do.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye,
Take care.
Carol. Bye,
Bye.
Carol. Thank you.
Dhanushi, send me the photograph.
Of course,
Tanuja.
Dr. Suresh will do.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you.
That would be good
Thank
memory.
you. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.